Good afternoon. I am Emily Truman. I serve as the 2025 Chair of the Gates County Board of Commissioners. I am joined by Commissioners Nathan Berryman, Vice Chair Jonathan Craddock, Commissioner Brian Roundtree, Commissioner Dave Forsyth, Assistant County Manager Warren Perry, and Clerk to the Board Renee Draper. At this time, we will need a motion to reconvene the Board of Equalization and Review meeting from May 21st, 2025.
So moved. Second.
All right. This has been moved and seconded. All in favor? By a show of hands. All right. And that is unanimous. So we are back in session. I am now going to invite Ms. Taylor Powell to join us. Good evening.
Tonight we're here to the 2025 Board of Equalization and Review. I'd like to ask the board to approve the minutes from the last meeting on May 21st.
Okay. And those
And
April 16th. Okay, and they should be at your seat. So we have the minutes as provided for April 16th, 2025 and May 21st, 2025. If you get a motion to approve those.
Motion to approve. Second.
All right, and all in favor? All right, that is unanimous. So those two sets of meeting minutes are approved. Yes, ma'am.
At the first meeting on April 16th, the authority to make changes to property assessments for a good cause was moved from myself to the board, and upon adjournment tonight, the authority will return to me, myself as the tax administrator. At this time, we have one appeal tonight. You should have already had the packets provided. Is that correct?
Yep.
There will also be Ms. Williams and Renee from Pioneer Appraisals here tonight to help with any questions. Is there any questions from me about the packets you've already been provided?
All right, I'll defer. Do we have any questions for Ms. Powell?
I don't think so. No.
No. Okay.
All right, at this time, Ms. Williams, would you like to come up about your appeal?
Good
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm here to talk about 178 first. 178 Sam Road.
All right, can you just pull the mic up just a little bit so you can hear you?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right here is a my property tax went up from $87,487 to $200,830. Over the span of 8 years, I have not did anything to this property. I don't have a shed. I don't have, you can't even see my driveway. I don't have a carport, garage, or anything. I still even have the steps that the trailer dealership gave me. This is a mobile home, which is a trailer. And this yard, it always, when it rains, the water stays there for days and days at a time. I am the only one in my neighborhood and on my road that has a special septic tank system. And that system cost me $13,000, and it has been replaced twice. The first one has failed, and the second one has been put in. Hopefully, this one will continue to work, but that has caused me costly repairs. In your pictures, if you've been given pictures of the home, my mobile home, if you look in detail around the windows where they are put in at, there are spaces around the outside of the windows where water gets in when it rains, causing condensation and water to get in the windows. In some of the pictures, as you can see, around inside of my windows, you should be looking at this picture right here. The windows are rotten on the inside because of the outside of the mobile home has not been caulked like it's supposed to on this picture right here. and that's also around my doors as well. As far as my foundation, because of the land holding water, whatever, I was told that I needed to get the house encapsulated, which you should see on a page from Virginia Foundation Solutions. The cost of repairs is $46,000, once again, which I cannot afford. You did not get the job details of what they all entail. Ms. Miggins, did you want to explain that part to them, or just? You go and finish this job. Okay, so it has a whole page of what they are going to do. In summary, they want to dig a trench around the inside of the home, under the house, put in pipes, tear out the belly of the trailer, and take that out, put in new dirt, put in 2 dehumidifiers on each end of the home, put a hole inside of the foundation and run it outside to take any moisture that gets inside. Put up 2 new crawl space doors, and for the vents, close them off and put down 10-inch plastic around the walls and the flooring, which comes to $46,000. Because of the water getting inside of the windows, the window replacement estimate is $11,000. I have tried to have contractors come out to fix the doors. One contractor came out, fixed the door. On one page, you should see this. He came and did this and left it. We ended up in small claims court, and the magistrate in favor with the contractor. I don't see how that could happen. You can see clean out my door by that little white spot that you see. He didn't even come back and put in the molding. I've recently had a roof put on, and in the contractor was supposed to remove all rotten repairs. I was sitting in my den and noticed a leak, drip, drip, drip. Called the contractor out. He says, don't call the insurance, call him. And so now where does that leave me? Back in small claims or back in court again? Once again, a contractor has not did his job. I have called for the inspector to come down. I haven't seen anyone. I've also, and you do have pictures of under the home where it stays wet at because of the encapsulation. This land is wet land. And it's called Lenore land or whatever. I think from $87,000 jumping up to a $200,000, which all those repairs, if you look at the problems that's wrong with the home, the house is not even worth that. In about 8 years, if it doesn't get fixed, then I don't know where that's going to leave me at. I'm asking you to consider reducing the amount that you have assessed this property at, because once again, there's no changes to this property. The only thing that I do is keep the grass maintained because I am frantic of snakes. Everybody else's property, you can't even tell where my driveway is because the rocks have been there so old. I cannot afford these repairs. I am disabled, and this is my speech to you guys.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Does anybody have any questions
Yes.
for Ms. Wiggins?
I do have a statement. It seems from our presentation there's been a significant amount of downgrades, a lot of problems that I would think would reduce the value of that home. It's very significant, the downgrades that she's experiencing. And for it to go from 86 to,
200,000.
more than double, over 100%. That's something we should consider, especially with all those significant downgrades that, it's going to affect the value of that home.
Is your home is it a single wide, double wide?
Double.
It's a double wide.
Double wide, so it's 27 foot Wide? About how long?
I don't know measurements, sir.
Okay,
It's not
I'm trying to figure out what the square footage would be, that's all.
It's not one of the larger ones. I drove by there before
Okay.
doing this. Came by, made a point to drive by and look at both of those, 178, 182 both. So it's not a bigger double wide.
So it's about 2,000 square feet or so?
Yeah.
It's 27 by 76.
Yeah.
Okay.
2,052 square
All right.
feet.
So that would be approximate square foot value of just shy of $100 a square foot. So if the home was sold at market, right, because that's, at the end of the day, that's really what the true value of the home would be, is that somebody, if you decided you wanted to sell it, right, and somebody bought it, the true market value would be what it's worth. And that's really what you're disputing today is, are you truly getting tax value, the true market value of your home? If this was sold today,
I just wanted to make a note, on your appeal, you're still using the first value of 200. After your informal appeal, it did go down to 117.
Right.
Okay.
That's what
That's what I was about to ask
yeah,
too.
you knew exactly where I was going as far as understanding what that.
That was lower in your informal appeal, it dropped from that 200 to 117 after what was on there.
Yeah.
Are you okay with the 117?
No.
Okay. What do you think it should be?
What do I think it should be? From 87,000 to 117?
Yeah. 'Cause value of property, just the land itself went up, right?
So an acre of land is what now? 1 acre of land is how much now?
$27,000.
$27,000?
Yes.
And you're saying my house is worth what? Just the house by itself?
Well, 117 is what is currently the whole thing is valued at. Did I read
So
that
roughly
correctly?
90,000
The
is what
house
they're.
itself is 88.
Yeah.
81.
Yeah. So that would be the home
81 and
itself.
27 is what?
That's 117. That's where the difference is.
But can I ask a question? Because I want to make sure I understand the process. My expectation was, and I'm just throwing it out there, maybe it's a question more for y'all. I thought the expectation when we did revaluations, it was expected for somebody to come in and show us, hey, here's comps or something they call it, comparable valued properties similar to yours that show that you overestimated ours. Is that not really the expectation, or?
We do, I was going back through the double wide, the double wide sales that we had in 2024. We do have one that was in poor condition. I can't tell you the specifics because we normally don't get into that. It was built in year 2000. Miss Williams's was in 2001. This particular one has 1,782 square feet, 3.5 acres of land, and it's sold in 2024 for $95,000. There's no doubt that the issues with her double wide is going to play a role in what somebody's going to be willing to pay for that. And as she spoke about the lot itself, it is lower soil, which it works very slowly, and
Yeah.
she has the documentation where the normal perk test failed.
Right.
So they gave her recommendations as far as putting in another type system, which she's had problems with. And in all honesty, it kind of sounds like she's kind of got the wrong deal from the very beginning. It's just creating more
Right.
issues and more issues. But when you have a buyer that goes out to that property and these issues are revealed, and what they're going to have to do to put into that property to get it up to where it needs to be, it does have a bearing on the sale price.
It sounds like y'all took that into account with the valuation dropping down
Well, it
to,
was taken into effect after she put in the informal.
Right.
Right.
which brought it down from 200 to 114.
And
117, yeah.
we
117.
did put, it is in fair condition, it's condition we have it in, but we did put an additional 20% fiscal depreciation on. I will say, one thing I would recommend that I don't have an issue in changing. The land quality was listed as fair, which that land quality does apply a factor to the 1 acre home site on the property. I have no problem in putting that to a 4. But we would need y'all's actions to do that, and if you want to do more to the, as far as the double wide, that's up to y'all. But we have put, like say, this in fair condition, we put an extra 20% appreciation on it. And we're not, like I said, this one sold for $95,000, a little less, about 300 square feet less square footage, a little more land, so, 117 really doesn't pay it either. Normally, if the double wide was in good shape and everything was good, it would probably sell for somewhere between 200 and 250.
Yeah.
Right.
It is truly poorly put
So-
together.
Just to reiterate, you said the one that sold in '24 was for $95,000, year 2000, poor condition, 1,700 square feet, but 3.5 acres. Is that correct? What kind of land did that have?
I did not go.
Don't know,
back
okay.
to the city.
Skip that.
So if you listed that land as poor condition, what would that do to the value? How much would that bring it down?
In poor conditions,
At a categorization of 4.
it's probably gonna put another, I'll say 25 to 35% depreciation on
I think we should,
I'm comfortable with that.
yes, I think we should, on Mr. McGinnis' recommendation, categorize it as a 4, and with that 25. I think that's feasible.
So I'm going to defer to Renee. So would that need to be in a motion to do that, and then a second open for discussion? Okay. So if your motion was,
My motion is to go on the recommendation of Mrs. McGinnis, categorizing the land at 4,
as
which
as
would bring it
poor-
at 25%.
as poor,
Yes,
And-
and which would bring it at 25% depreciation.
25% depreciation. All right.
Yes.
So we have a motion to go on Ms. McGinnis's recommendation to change the land to poor, which would add a 25% depreciation. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
We have
Okay.
some discussion on this,
All
though.
right, and now we're going to open for discussion. Yes, sir.
Okay, so the thing I'm trying to understand is, so it was 96 prior, 8 years ago? Is that 86? 87, okay. And so it's, with the going to 117, that's still a 30-some% increase? And was it previously the property assessed as poor? No. Okay, it's fair.
8 years ago was depressed, it was,
So do
That's
y'all
fair.
normally routinely make the assessment of it being 4-pair based upon whether or not it has the ability to perk? Because, I mean, she has an existing system, it doesn't sound like it's working good, but
Yeah.
do y'all
doesn't
normally
perk.
make that assessment?
We have, or I'll put it this way, when she received the letter that that land would not work, and she had chosen to not go with the provisional system, to put on that, just let it go, it doesn't work, I'm not gonna do anything, we would have reduced the value of that land by 8%.
Okay, so you really would have, she just, yeah, okay, I get it.
She just went, and we have a few, by recollection, and of course I'm speaking from 10 years ago, but I really knew more about things in the game. We have a few properties that do have,
Yeah.
septic systems on, not a whole lot. But if you listen to some people, they will tell you that most of the land in Gates County really doesn't work.
Right. So the follow-up question for this is, so the motion, the 25% that Commissioner Roundtree.
he's trying to do some math now on that
I'd like to know what
number.
the final number is.
Yeah,
It's like 88, 230.
So it's effectively no increase in property whatsoever in assessment? Yeah.
yeah.
Can I verify something
Yes.
Please. We're talking about taking the land from fair to poor, and then what about the 25%
Was that 25% indicating the depreciation of the land?
of the land?
Yes.
Just the land?
Right, yes, yes. Yes, that's what I was saying. Yes.
Okay.
Can you take?
So do we have what number that would bring us down to? Okay.
It currently is at 27,800. It would bring us down to 19,007.
So, okay.
That's just on the 1 acre side.
All right. So 19,007 plus 20. My other rate. Go down something. All right. So that would further bring it down to more the 107,000 range.
If we bring it down, and we have a little extra land that has $900, if we bring it down to 109,485.
Yeah, okay. I can look at that.
109, okay. All right, so we have a motion, we have a second with any further discussion? All right, so we'll go into a vote for this. All in favor? And that is unanimous. So it will be adjusted down with that depreciation to the land value to the $109,481. $481, didn't want to misquote. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
All right,
We have another property,
Yeah, 182.
182,
Right.
182.
and it's the same issues, except for that house is unlivable.
She has her father's land that she has also appealed. What I would recommend doing with that also is right next to her home, same type of soil, is to bring that from fair to poor.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, when I drove by, it was like, that house, no offense, that old house is like, it's not worth anything. I didn't think anything.
saw
but- Yeah, I drove by and looked.
You guys,
See, I feel confused with somebody.
okay,
Thank you.
Yeah, but they'd have to spend the money, yeah,
lots of it.
yeah.
So,
But I would recommend
Okay.
fathers do the same.
Yeah.
okay. All right, any discussion or motions on that?
I make a motion that the land value property be categorized as 4 at a depreciation rate of 25%.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, Forsyth, all right, any discussion on that? No? All right, so all in favor? And that is unanimous, so both motions carry.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wiggins.
Hey, good luck
Good
with that
evening.
place.
Yes.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, thank you. All right. Let me back up, yes, ma'am.
I just would also like to thank the public and Pioneer Appraisals for all of their cooperation and work throughout the revaluation process. Those were the last appeals we currently have, so with no further appeals to bring at the board, I would like to suggest for us to adjourn until the 2026 year.
All right, so can we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All right, all in favor? We are adjourned. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. All right.